One main decision that I decided to make whenever I was writing Cliffhanger is I didn't want it to be a poetry collection. I wanted for it to be a story first and foremost. So it has a start and it has an end, and it is being told for poetry. But one thing I didn't realize is when it came to marketing, it would be really hard because this book is kind of meant to be read as a story from the start to the end, right? Obviously, if you pick it up in the middle, you will still get the meaning, but it's not just about singular poems, right? But so whenever I'm doing a TikTok for like one TikTok, one page, some of it just doesn't really translate well because it can be a 10 to 20 second clip, and they don't work as well as, my longer ones on here, because it's like they kind of straight to the point, and they don't work just as, a means to the story. They also work as their singular pieces. Whereas everything else, they can be 3 words, not 3 words, but like 3 lines, whatever. And it tells a bigger story through the entire picture rather than a singular snapshot, if that makes sense. So that is kind of my biggest challenge going into book 2, because book 2 is actually twice the size of Cliffhanger. It's gonna have about 500 pages. And the reason for that is because I feel like every page plays off one another, and it's important to tell a story that way. Because if you're telling a story for over like a 3-year period, it's really hard to just talk about the highlights or the lowlights, you know what I mean? So I'm kind of talking about everything from start to finish and everything in between. And this is kind of why I'm proud of Cliffhanger as well, because it's not just a poetry collection. As much as I love poetry, don't get me wrong, it's just like I like to know what the writer is thinking, and this is very much my heart and my brain on my on pages, you know what I mean? So you get everything in between, and that's the way I decided to continue writing with the next book as well, because this is part of a bigger story, right? So this was like the first 3 years, and then the next book is going to cover the next 3 years, which is kind of interesting because it's going to cover everything from where Cliffhanger left us, and then we're picking up right where we're picking up right where I left you with Cliffhanger, and then it goes pretty much to my current life now, which is honestly crazy. But yeah, strap on. As I said, we're still not done with this book. I'm going to be talking about the most relevant poems out of this, and you're gonna know exactly what the story is about when we're done. So yeah.